Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke, and I have never felt more honored to join you guys to discuss all things Descendants and Zombies related. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to think about doing that. We have 3 days to go until Halloween, and I'm really excited about everything happening all throughout the month of October. Just earlier this past month, we talked about Freya Sky's birthday, Ruby Rose Turner's birthday, and we talked about all the moments that made us a fan of Descendants and Zombies. And the response this YouTube channel has received all throughout the month of October never ceases to amaze me. You guys are always subscribing to this YouTube channel, and I can never seem to put into words how appreciative I am of every single one of you who always hit my subscribe button, showing your love and support, which is truly undeniable for franchises that you grew up with, that you know everything about. And because I understand and I appreciate how you know everything there is to know about Descendants and Zombies, so do I. And because I want to show you the respect that you've deserved for forever with a commentary about Descendants and Zombies, because when you record a video about Descendants and Zombies, there's more to it than just recording a reaction video. I think you've really got to show up and really be on case and point with your opinions on Descendants and Zombies, because these fans are incredibly loyal to who and what they love. That's something I've come to know over the last 10 years, because this last decade has been a decade I will never ever forget, because I not only had the honor of talking about Descendants and Zombies, I had the honor of meeting so many incredible fans who felt inspired by the original cast, this new cast represented by Clarke and Malia Baker, who are doing a fabulous job carrying on the lineage of the Descendants franchise. And I, for one, am excited to talk all things Descendants and Zombies leading into the foreseeable future, with Descendants 5 with Wonderland's premiere up and coming in the summer of 2026. We are thinking it's going to be in July of 2026. This one is going to drop. That is the obvious suggestion for the release date of Descendants 5 with Wonderland. I think a lot of critics are uploading reaction videos and trailers early on to get reactions out of fans, and that's what really upsets me, because they know you love Descendants and Zombies so much. You have a hero that you see in the Descendants franchise. Perhaps it could be Mel, perhaps it could be Red. Whoever you're a fan of in the Descendants franchise, I understand why you're a fan of these stars, because they are so fearless and they've never really cared what anybody thought of them. All they ever wanted to do was go out and achieve a dream and stand out for whatever they wanted to represent, because Red wanted to be somebody who was very fearless, who didn't really care what anybody thought of her, and so did Mel. And each of them found their place in the world, no matter how long it took them to find it. They were, struggling to find acceptance in a world that didn't really understand them. They felt really misunderstood on times. But I think this is where Descendants has offered us encouragement to really stand up for what we believe in and really set a goal and achieve every dream that we've ever wanted to come into fruition. Because when you step back and you realize this dream is coming into a reality for you, there's no better feeling in the world. And that's what I've wanted to encourage, along with the belief that forever actually has a chance of existing for forever. The thought of forever existing for an eternity is a beautiful thing. And I think that's been represented very sufficiently through the scripts of Descendants and Zombies, through the powerful friendships we've seen between Clarke and Malia Baker, and Ruby Rose Turner, who did a fabulous job as a trio that I think will never ever be forgotten, representing Descendants in so many emphatic ways. For me, my favorite character in the Descendants franchise in its entirety had to be Bridget, because of just how kind she was and how genuinely sweet the girl came off for being. I like to believe that Ruby Rose Turner encouraged me to be a kinder person to everybody around me that I surround myself with from day in and day out, and it really put into perspective for me just how valuable life is, because of course time is the most precious commodity, and the thing about time is time always runs out. So in Descendants 5 with Wonderland, while we may not know what's coming next or what to expect, we do know to expect the consequences of time travel being evident in present day Wonderland, because that's what the focus of this movie is going to be on. We just don't know what the consequences of that time travel and their adventures in Descendants 4 The Rise of Red will be. And that's what's so exciting about this plot, is there's always going to be an opportunity to present new storylines, and I for one love creating storylines. I love writing. I was always a fan of journalism, and I was always a fan of writing my thoughts to somebody who probably never cared what I had to say, but I always had this thing, no matter where I was or what I was going through, of sitting down and writing my thoughts and emailing them to somebody, just writing them down in a letter and passing it to somebody just so they could understand what I may have been going through. And I think Descendants and Zombies has allowed us to put all of that into perspective. And I think the value of friendship, how precious time actually is, are qualities in this movie that have been emphasized on for the greater good, in all honesty. Because I think the original Descendants cast pretty much just focused on the relationship between Mal and Ben and a story that they were developing for characters, because we were just being introduced to what the Descendants franchise was going to mean. We didn't know it was going to be for over a decade, and it was really hard to believe that a decade has passed since the original cast premiered and they offered so much to the franchise. Because I remember Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson having these characters with no backstory whatsoever. I mean, we didn't know anything about Maleficent's daughter. All we knew was that she was trying to achieve acceptance in a world that she felt misunderstood in. And I think a lot of people related to Dove Cameron's character, Mal, because of how Dove Cameron could take a character and really bring her to life with no backstory whatsoever, and Sophia Carson really did the same. But I think what these characters represented themselves by is the feeling really being mutual about how nobody really ever cared about what they thought of them. And I think that the thing about them was they were just beautiful characters. They surrounded themselves with beautiful people. They've been friends for forever. And I think the chemistry has really been off the charts for people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson from the very beginning. And that's what made us all fall in love with Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson right from the very beginning. And I think that Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker have done a fabulous job ever since having the torch unofficially passed to them. And it got me to thinking about how everything happened in Zombies 4 down to the vampires the way that it did. The setting up of the passing of the torch moment from Meg Donnelly's characters and Mila Manheim's characters to Victor and Nova, played by Malachi Burton and Freya Skye. We never did see an official moment where the torch was passed from Mal and Evie to Red and Chloe, but I think that they've done a fabulous job carrying on the history of Descendants and Zombies, because the thing about these girls were they were so appreciative of getting the call up from Disney to be a part of this franchise, and their resumes definitely speak for themselves. Of course, the Babysitters Club, we've got Gabby Durnan, The Unsittables, High School Musical, the musical, the series, Raven's Home, working alongside such legends like Brandy and Rita Ora, and Raven Simone was a great honor for Kylie Cantrell to have, and she learned so much so quickly. I think forever and always, if there ever is a conversation that comes up about who is the next Hannah Montana, it would definitely have to be Kylie Cantrell, because I saw this incredible performance from Kylie Cantrell at the Worlds Collide Tour where she showed so much dedication and so much heart. I think one thing to be noted about Kylie Cantrell is Kylie Cantrell puts so much heart into every performance that she does. As Red, as a character on Bizarre Advark, as a character on Gabby Durnan and The Unsittables, because, I mean, she really looked at it as an opportunity. She always wanted to be a star on Disney Channel, and when the opportunity arose, she took full advantage of it. And I think that all the criticism that Kylie Cantrell has received is criticism that she doesn't deserve. And that's why I've forever and always been supportive of Kylie Cantrell and what she believes in, who she believes in, because it's pretty apparent to me that Kylie Cantrell values friends and values her friendships with everybody that's been a part of her life for what feels like forever. And that's what's so beautiful about Kylie Cantrell. I remember last year I saw this video that she had uploaded to YouTube. It was originally uploaded to TikTok, and then fans were uploading it on YouTube, because Kylie Cantrell was very upset because she was missing her friends, and people were feeling a bit differently about her opinion about Donald Trump, and her political point of view had somehow ended up in a conversation that I think had no business ending up in any conversations having anything to do with Kylie Cantrell whatsoever. And I remember her saying simply in the video that she missed every one of her friends, and it got me to thinking about how appreciative each and every one of us have been about Kylie Cantrell, and really have been there from Kylie Cantrell from the very beginning. And I think that every single time Kylie Cantrell misses her friend, she needs to think about all of us and how incredibly supportive we've been of her. Because we've come out by the thousands out of support of Kylie Cantrell. This past summer, that was more evident than ever before, because venues across the entire United States were sold out because of Descendants and Zombies. Were sold out because of Kylie Cantrell. And she knew she was a star, and she took full advantage of the opportunity, and she made the most of every opportunity she was given. She performing songs like Red and songs off her EP like See You Tonight and Goodie Bag. I think this was a phenomenal opportunity for us to really get to know who Kylie Cantrell was. And I have to be honest with each and every one of you. The energy that Kylie Cantrell brought to the Worlds Collide Tour stage was unlike anything that I had ever seen in my life. And I had never felt more honored to be a part of a Disney concert production as I was Descendants and Zombies, because of the energy you guys brought to the atmosphere and how you really brought it to life. If there's anybody who deserves to be credited for bringing Descendants and Zombies to life and really showing the incentive and the potential that goes with Descendants and Zombies, it has to be each and every one of you. Because years ago, you took something something like Hannah Montana and the Jonas Brothers Best of Both Worlds Collide tour, and you blew it up. And now many years later, you're blowing this tour up, and it's really been blown out of the water ever since the first performance was done in Anaheim, California. And Quality Control opened it up with how dreams can really happen for anybody. You know, a dream is something that I've always believed in forever, always starts with your heart. And I think that you can never offer enough encouragement to somebody about a dream actually coming into fruition for somebody. And the more that you encourage them that a dream can happen for them, no matter how far away that dream may seem to be for them, I think encouragement really goes a long way. And that's why I really appreciated your favorite stars really showing up at the Worlds Collide Tour and offering you encouragement that no matter what your dream seems to be, it can and it will happen for you. Because you see, I've always believed in this saying that everybody has a light. And it's just a matter of you and how and when you find that light. Now, I know that sounds a lot like Cloud, reminiscent of Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, because I play a lot of video games, and I'll show you the Final Fantasy video game perhaps later on today when I find my video game collection. But I really do believe that what Cloud said, Final Fantasy VII, from Final Fantasy VII fame, when I used to play that video game, it could never be more true, because everybody does have a light. It's just a matter of how and when you find that light. Some people take longer than others to find that light and their true calling. But I really do believe everybody does have a light, and they do eventually find it. And that's all I've ever wanted to encourage through the power of these videos, is that if you have a dream, go out, set a goal for yourself, and make your dream become a reality. Because when you finally realize your dream is happening for you, and you sit back and you realize, oh my God, this really happened for me, there is no greater feeling, and there's no greater feeling of a rewarding feeling than when you realize your dream is happening for you. And I think that Quality Control opening up the Worlds Collide Tour with that every single night, encouraging thousands of people, was exactly what I wanted to forever and always happen for Quality Control. Because I used to be a fan of her YouTube channel years ago, and because I was a huge fan of shows like Victorious and iCarly, I thought they were phenomenal casts. I thought that Ariana Grande had the brightest future out of anybody on a show like Victorious or iCarly. And I remember being a huge fan of Ariana Grande, and I couldn't seem to say enough nice things about Ariana back in 2010. And then off of Victorious, we had Sam and Cat. Of course, the success of iCarly and Victorious were very apparent for stars like Jeanette McCurdy and Ariana Grande, and that spin-off series only going one season. It broke my heart when Sam and Cat announced its cancellation, because I really thought that Ariana Grande and Jeanette McCurdy were really going to go to the distance for Nickelodeon. And then all these rumors started deriving from what happened on the set of Sam and Cat. And then I remember listening to a syndicated radio program at like 2 a.m. in the morning. And I heard about how Ariana Grande and Jeanette McCurdy had parted ways from the set of Sam and Cat. And Sam and Cat originally was, set for 3 or 4 seasons, but it had been canceled because of some animosity. And my heart was broken. And then I heard Quality Control on YouTube a couple of days later reviewing some of the final episodes of Sam and Cat. And because I missed Sam and Cat so much, I got hooked on what Quality Control was saying, how she was reviewing these shows. And I feel as if I've been a fan of Quality Control ever since. Obviously, she draws inspiration from Hello Kitty, and every single time I go to the Hello Kitty store in the mall, I think about Quality Control's YouTube channel because of how much it inspired millions of people. In less than 1 year, Quality Control's YouTube channel had over 500,000 subscribers with over 500,000 views. Let me tell you guys something. 500,000 views and 500,000 subscribers is only a dream of mine. I know it will never ever happen for me, but I would love to have 500,000 subscribers. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, perhaps you're probably going to want to think about doing that, because I have a lot to say where your favorite stars go, and I really do believe that never enough nice things can be said about Quality Control and Malia Baker. So if you're looking for a guy to say nice things about your favorite stars, trust in me, and I will never ever let you down. That's the best I can do for you, because Aladdin always wanted Jasmine to trust him ever before he took her on a magic carpet ride, and after he earned her trust, everything just fell into place for them. And I think that's what's so beautiful about all these original Disney stories about princesses like Jasmine and Ariel and Aurora, is that no matter what their situation was, they always found their light. They always found their way out of every predicament they were ever in, and true love always had a way of ending up at their front door. And because true love always had a way of ending up at their front door, I think that more people have felt inspired, and that's why Descendants has become such a phenomenon, because of these original Disney princess stories that originally were, silent films when you talk about Snow White, and originally released back in 1959, on January 29th, 1959, I do believe. That's when the original Sleeping Beauty premiered. And I remember how the original Sleeping Beauty was being criticized for its art direction and its characters and its plot. And now, over 50 years later almost, Descendants has premiered on Disney Channel and Disney Plus, and is receiving the same amount of criticism, if not worse. And my heart goes out to everybody who was a part of the Descendants production and the Worlds Collide tour, because you guys did a phenomenal job. Everybody who was a part of the Worlds Collide tour came away with something special to take away from it, and were a part of something special. They were really a part of history. And that's what was so amazing about the Descendants fans, were that each and every one of you were so supportive of the cast and so supportive of the story. Because one thing that really intrigued me about the Descendants franchise was just how incredibly supportive everybody was of the story. It wasn't just about the music. You had a great story to fall back on. And I think that when you talk about other Disney Channel franchises like High School Musical, it was pretty much the music that made High School Musical so revered. That's what stood out to me about High School Musical, was the music. If you didn't have the music for High School Musical, you really didn't have much of a story to fall back on. And that's where Disney has really come into its own over the years. They really changed their sense of direction and their creative energy, because they're not only channeling it to create and write great music for a story, they're also having a great story to back up Descendants' claim. So because of a great story and music to fall back on, when you don't have a great story, you have a great music. When you don't have great music, you have a great story. So it works both ways. And then you have an undeniable amount of chemistry coming from people like Kylie Cantrell, Malia Baker, and Ruby Rose Turner, and of course, in years prior to that, in years past, Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson. I remember reading an article years ago about the top 10 friendships in Disney Channel history, and some of the friendships that we heard about were Ashley Tisdale, Vanessa Hutchins, Nick Jonas, and Demi Lovato, and one of the top 5, if not the top 3, were Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson. And now I think if you were to compile a top 10 list of the best friends on Disney Channel and Disney Plus, I think that Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker would somehow end up in that conversation. Because forever and always, I think they've been supportive of each other. They've been there for every single moment of each other's lives. And I think a lot of people draw inspiration for their friendships and what they may be going through because of Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker. And I've been forever supportive of that. I've forever and always believed in supporting Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker because of what they've stood for. You know, how beautiful friendships are. How friendships can really stand the test of time. And I think that while the consequences of time travel will never be more apparent in Descendants 5 with Wonderland focusing on present-day Wonderland, I think that we'll have a greater appreciation coming away from this new chapter of Descendants and all these new characters expected to enter the franchise from Encanto and Princess and the Frog, which is something I'm really excited about because I was always a fan of the original Princess and the Frog, that musical. There was just something about that New Orleans musical that got me every single time. For those of you who are new here on this YouTube channel, I am the biggest fan and supporter of musicals in the world, and I will be seeing Wicked for Good this coming November. I'm really excited to see Ariana Grande once done the role again in Belinda the Good Witch and see this sequel, because I remember seeing it last year and being blown away by it. The special effects, the music, everything really fell into place for Wicked. And over the years, I've been a part of every musical, from Hocus Pocus to High School Musical to The Lion King to Beauty and the Beast. I've had something to do with every single one of them. Stage productions. I've seen Disney do some of the most phenomenal stage productions in the world, and I seem to be a part of every generation of Disney over the years. But through the years, I remember these iconic musicals blowing everybody away and really captivating people. And now 15, 20 years later, here comes Descendants doing the exact same thing that Disney has tried to do over the last 30 years and done it so phenomenally well. They really put a stronger emphasis on the value of friendship and just how precious time actually is. Because the thing about time is, time always runs out, and sometimes we really take it for granted. But when we really step back and put things into perspective, you know, what would we do if we had more time? Would we go back in time and tell the people that we love so much that we do? Would we go back in time to fix all the mistakes? Because many of us are far from perfect, and I do everything with an open heart and an open mind. So because I do everything with an open heart and an open mind, I am far from perfect, and I've been very honest with you guys about that. So if anything, Descendants has encouraged me to really put my life into perspective. It's allowed me to be a part of something special, and be a part of something special with each and every one of you, because we have our obvious reasons why we are fans of a franchise like Descendants of Zombies, why we've been forever supportive of a franchise like Descendants of Zombies, because we still have a long way to go. And for those of you who have been convinced that this story is over, this story is far from over. We have many chapters left, and especially with new characters coming into the franchise like Pink, played by Liamani, I think this could be setting up for an unofficial passing of the torch moment and her own story to begin. And that's what's so honorable about, you know, Liamani coming into this franchise, is because there's still so much of a story for her to be told. And you just can't tell her story in under 90 minutes and believe the story's told and completed, like it's been said many years for Descendants of Zombies. I think that We still have so much of a story to be a part of, so much to be excited about, and I'm just really excited to be your voice of Descendants of Zombies moving forward into the foreseeable future, because I think never enough nice things can be said about these two franchises that have forever and always had a way of captivating our hearts through the powerful music, the powerful scripts, the powerful story, the powerful characters. For whatever reason you are a fan of Descendants of Zombies, that's all right by me. I think it's cool, and I'm here to let you guys know that there's nothing wrong with being a fan of Descendants of Zombies. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel in the final 20 seconds I have this morning, I would encourage you to think about hitting my subscribe button. I've never wanted you to hit my subscribe button because of me. I wanted you to hit my subscribe button because you are a fan of Descendants of Zombies. So if you think you're cool and you know everything there is to know about Descendants of Zombies, I would love for you to subscribe to this YouTube channel because I have a lot to say where Descendants of Zombies goes. Guys, from my heart to yours, thank you guys so much for all the love and support you have shown this YouTube channel. I will be back later on today with a second podcast and many more throughout today as we count you down to Halloween 2025. We're just about 3 days away from Halloween 2025, and I'm really excited about everything having to do with a conversation about Descendants of Zombies, and just really excited to be a part of it. So if you get a moment, please hit my subscribe button, hit my like button, share my video, and of course ring my bell to stay up to date with notifications about everything happening on this YouTube channel. You're not going to want to miss a single second of the action happening on this YouTube channel because I have a lot to say where Descendants of Zombies goes. Guys, from my heart to yours, seriously, thank you so much because life really is that much sweeter when all of us are.